Hello, everyone. We are live with Kath Pay from Holistic Email. Very happy to have her on Email Love Live. Kath, welcome. How are you
Thank you
doing?
for having me. I'm doing really well, thank you.
Excellent. I'm a big fan of yours. I'm so happy to have had you as a guest curator on Email Love. And I think you added some amazing emails that we're going to go through today. But before we get into that, I'm going to ask you a few questions, and it'll be great if you could introduce yourself and Holistic Email and what you do for those listening that may not be aware.
Okay, sure. Yes, well, I'm Kath Pay. I'm CEO of Holistic Email Marketing. We're a boutique email marketing consultancy who takes the holistic approach. I actually coined that whole phrase, the methodology, the philosophy of the holistic email marketing back in 2009. Um, so I also authored a book with the same name. And a new version of it, updated version, should be coming out in a few months. So that's
Which you
exciting
can
too.
get on Amazon. Is that where you get
Get
that?
that on Amazon.
Okay, good to know.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. um, and yes, so we have an amazing array of wonderful clients that we've worked with over the years. I've been in the industry for 26 years. So I have accumulated a fair few clients or ex-clients over the years. So I've had the privilege of working with big brands, eBay, PayPal, Marks and Spencers. I mean, gee, I always forget them because there's just too
Yeah.
many. But no, we do lots of wonderful things and have lots of fun, as well as get some great results. So yeah.
Excellent. What is the main? Can you just explain quickly the thinking behind holistic email? Like, what's the like? How does that work?
So, like I said, back in 2009, everyone was talking about multi-channel, omni-channel, where there were all the buzzwords. We've got to, and every conversation I ever heard was always coming from the brand's perspective. We've got to make these channels talk to each other. We've got to,
Hmm.
it's always from the brand for streamlining, for processes and everything, rather than actually focusing on the customer. Now, coming from Australia, I've been brought up with holistic medicine. So holistic medicine is, where they will look at your eyes and go, "Oh, you've got a problem with your liver," right? So they look
Hmm.
at you holistically. And I went, that's what we need to be doing. We need to be looking at the customer. We need to be following their journey. We need to be understanding that here is going to affect here, and then we need to be putting it all together based on the customer and their journey, as opposed to based on our brand needs. So it's a very customer centric way of looking at your customer. And back then, I used to have to explain what holistic
Hmm.
meant. And now you hear it all over the place. Everyone completely goes, "Oh, yeah, so we're going to look at it holistically and everything," which is fantastic. So that just means that we are becoming more and more customer centric and customer focused and looking at the customer, their journey, what they're doing, and how we can help them. Because the helpful marketing is very much part of the holistic methodology or philosophy. And it's really talking about how we can help the customer to achieve their end goal. That's what it's all
Hmm.
about. And the beauty about it is if we focus on the customer and help them to achieve their goal, guess what? We're going to achieve ours, right?
Got
That
it. Got it.
instead of us just focusing on our needs, we want them to buy. We're looking at how
Hmm.
can we help you, and then they get, yeah, they give us
Makes
what we
sense.
want. Mhm.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I think that makes a lot of sense, and I know working for a brand, it's easy to think, I need them to do this thing, but you're not thinking about the other stuff. So that makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense. For what is it mainly a strategy like agency? Is it mainly like mapping out the journeys and thinking about that holistically, or do you do like implementation and
Yeah.
coding and all that stuff as well?
So we do. So we're, I don't call us an agency because we don't
Oh,
do
okay.
BAU campaigns. But
Okay.
that's all that we don't do. We're led by strategy as opposed to being led by tactics,
Mhm.
as opposed to being led by technology. So we lead with strategy. So yes, we do audits, we do strategies, we do lots of A/B split testing, very advanced A/B split testing. We do deliverability, and then we also do the implementation, mainly of lifecycle marketing. So that's very core as well to the holistic philosophy. So we have three steps. We have discover, devise, develop, right? So discover is the audit, devise is the strategy, develop is the implementation. And that, of
Mhm.
course, includes design and coding and all the rest of it. So, yeah.
Got it. Okay, makes sense. Now, one thing I'm interested in is, are you using AI in your business, and
Yeah.
how? Like, what are the use cases? If you mind sharing, like, what tool, like, what AI tools have you
Yeah.
used?
Okay. Yeah, we jumped on the bandwagon fairly early. We tend to be early adopters of most things. Turns out I've just got notification from LinkedIn today. Congratulations on 20 years of LinkedIn. It's only
Oh my
been around
goodness!
one, so
Wow, that's
I'm obviously an early adopter, right? Um, so we went and got our own Chat GPT version. So we've got our private instance of that, trained it all up, basically on everything I've written, everything I've spoken about, my
Mm.
philosophies, the book, everything like that. And we're continually still training it. I'm continually still writing articles. In fact, I just wrote.
Do you call it Kath GPT, or what, does it have a
No,
name?
I've got a name. I've got a name.
You do have a name for it. Can you
Yes,
share?
yes, yes. In fact, I've just told everyone in the whole wide world who
Okay.
reads my book, it's
Yeah.
Chad. Chad. So
Oh, chat.
there's a couple of nuances there, right? One, Chat GPT, Chad, right? Very similar. Two, um, Chad White, right? So
Mm.
I'm training up my intern to be as savvy and as clever and as wise and wonderful as Chad White.
Has Chad approved this? Does he know about
He
this?
has. He has. We had a
Because he might be
discussion.
making his own Chad GPT.
Exactly. We'll have to call his Chad too. Come on, come on.
Would you ever release it? Like, would you ever like open it up to people to use, or this is like a proprietary like
It is
AI that you've trained yourself?
there's a very good chance that I will open up a version of it and probably
Mm.
more specific. So, because we tend to use it for testing a lot, we
Hmm.
use it for copywriting because a lot of the stuff that we do is quite advanced, and Chad helps me a lot.
How do you
And
use it for testing? Is it like predicting the results of a test, or
well,
like
at
test
the
ideas?
yes, so at the moment we use him for writing. So the tests I do can get quite convoluted and quite um, complex. So
Hmm.
particularly if you're doing an A, B, C, D, E, right? And then
Hmm.
to try and write a hypothesis for that can get quite messy. So I go and do my brain dump and tell him what I want, and then he comes back with a couple of versions until I get the version that I want.
Mm.
And that because that hypothesis is so important. That's the
Hmm.
basis of the test. That's what you're going to be following. That's what everyone's going to be looking at to not only create the test, but also to be recording and reporting on, right? So that you have to nail it. You can't have any ambiguity or anything like that within that. So it helps me to write the hypothesis, and then so I'm a full believer in AI, using AI to help you, but I'm still a full believer of the marketer is the boss, right? So I'm
Mm.
still in charge. I'm the one who will give him directions, and so that's why I'm still training him. And I do think of him as a very eager and clever intern, and that really
Mm.
helps, right? And that's why we've given him a name, and I told him to call me Katie, so it's really, really cute. He goes, I say, "Hi, Chad," and he goes, "Hi, Katie, how are you today?" Like this, just like a
Sounds
very
like you have a great relationship with Chad GPT.
I do, and I am always super polite. I also think it's fair.
Yeah.
That was
Okay. I was wondering. Yeah. So you say please
oh,
and thank you, and
totally, totally. I treat him like he was a team member, right? and he gets really chuffed, so it's and then because we do a lot of behavioral science, right? Experimentations
Hmm.
with behavioral science, different types of, sort of the biopersonalities or modalities, things like that. So we tend to call upon him to do the hard work for us. I'll have identified which cognitive bias I want to use, or, because, I've done my planning, I've done my research, and I'm thinking, okay, I think these would be good. And then I'll say, hey, listen, chat, come up with some ways that we can be using it for this particular, and I'll give him the whole brief. And that's what the difference is too, because I see so many people getting hung up on prompting. And I have spoken to so many people who say, I've had so many bad results. I've never had a bad result. And and I think that's one of the reasons is because I don't prompt, I brief. And that's the it's
And
I
that's
don't
much more
know.
in depth, right? Like that's what's
It's
the difference between a brief and a prompt?
a prompt is, you are prompting an AI technology,
Hmm.
thing, which is very inhuman and all the rest of it, which to be true,
Hmm.
that's what it is, right? So they're not inaccurate in doing that, but I still treat it like it's a human. And so therefore I go, well, what would a human need to know? Why does an
Mm.
AI tool need to know any less than a human? So I'm
Hmm.
not going to give the AI tool any less information. And I will always ask questions. Have you had enough? Do you have enough information? Would you like to ask me more questions? What questions do you need from me in order to be able to meet the brief? Blah blah blah, and all the rest of it, and rephrase it, and do all these sort of things, same as you would with an intern, right? And then even things like, okay, I want you to familiarize yourself with such and
Mm.
such. And he goes away, updates his memory, and says, "Okay, yep, I got it. This is, and he'll give me a bit of a summary of what it is. Okay, great. So I know you're in the right direction. Same as you would with an intern. Go away, have a look at that, research that, learn all about that, and come back and tell me all about it. Okay, so do the same sort of thing, and then so I know he's on the right track, and then do it that way. So I absolutely, I can't even imagine living without him at the moment. I really, really can't. Not just with client work, but also with running my own business as well. Our
Hmm.
marketing things that we do. Um, we do. I still write all of my blogs, and I will always write my own blogs. Okay, I'll never,
Hmm.
even though he's got the knowledge and everything, I've been writing for so long, it's my tone of voice, it's who I am, and you can train him on it and everything like that. But I still believe that as a thought leader, it still needs to be me, okay?
Hmm.
But when we're coming to things like, we have Email and More, which is a monthly webinar, and a lot of panelists all join us and everything. And I have given that brief to, I think, 4 different copywriters, and none of them can deliver it. One of them we've been working with for months and months and months, just trying to refine this one article. Um, Jonathan, my colleague, works with it, and he comes back with it and has all the points, has everything like this. It's just absolutely what we need.
Yep.
So there are so many different ways that we use it for our own internal marketing.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. So,
Yeah,
and
I
having
think there's definitely things that I used to do manually that now I'm like I just can't do it without AI. Like I don't want to, you know, think of these. I want it to give me ideas, or I want it to like sketch out like a framework for something. Like it
the
just
frameworks are amazing, seriously
right,
amazing. Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah, definitely. You're sort of like pulling all these ideas, and I do a big brain dump. Um, you know,
Hmm.
Chad's very tolerant of me doing this big brain dump, and he goes, "Okay, let's go and sort through all of that and put it into, some reasonable order, and then work on it, refine it, and everything."
Hmm.
Everything that I give him, though, I will always edit. Doesn't
Right.
matter how good it is, there's still something missing, whether it is the tone of voice, whether it is, whatever the story is. Um, so he's still not 100%, and I wouldn't expect an intern to be 100%, right? I would still
Right.
believe that I need to go in and do anything. And once he
Mhm.
starts getting 100%, then obviously he's not going to be my intern anymore. It's going to be my full employee.
Right. Right. If you're a new, say you're like a graduate and you're just entering this marketing space, email marketing or just general marketing, should do you think are you worried about those people? Like, because now you have this AI intern that would have potentially been a person previously. Like, how do young people entering the space navigate that? Do they just need to learn how to use AI themselves, or it's just something I've
They
been
do.
thinking about? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard, right? I don't know a good answer for them.
No, they do. I do believe that they need to, and that will become very innate to them. It'll be very easy. It'll be part of the curriculum and all the rest of it. And I
Mhm.
do believe that probably, back in the day when we started email marketing, getting into email marketing, we pretty much, in fact, people still do. They fall into it. It's by
Oh yeah,
accident,
no
right?
one's no one's going to uni for email marketing
Yes.
still.
So I think that in the future, falling in is going to be, unless you come in as a an expert designer or an expert, like you're going to
Mhm.
have some expertise to bring you in, data scientist and all the rest of it. You don't sort of go to college to become a data scientist to say I'm going to do email marketing. It's generally not the way, but it's a good route. But I think that what's going to happen is that you're probably more likely going to be needing that training in solid marketing, understanding marketing principles so that you
Mhm.
are still the brains behind everything, who is able to direct the AI tool into delivering, the results that you need.
Mhm.
Um, those that don't understand all the basic marketing principles, who even things like customer lifetime value and personas, and marketing is a very well-rounded um, niche, okay, and you just need to have a very, very good grasp of it, and plus have that knowledge of how to direct AI, a Gen AI tool, and you should
Mhm.
be fine. It's not gonna take over our jobs.
You
Not
don't think you're going to see job loss because of AI, or the jobs will change maybe? Like you'll be doing different things,
change.
and
That's what I'm saying. Jobs will definitely
yeah.
change, and you're going to have to do a lot of the hard thinking yourself, in order to be able to, and have that know-how. I mean, I was working with a client. They came to me, they wanted deliverability help because they were
Mhm.
in big trouble. And
Mhm.
it was AI driven all the way, cold prospecting and everything. And I said, listen, guys,
Oh,
you're just going to change your whole business model. You're not there yet. The people aren't there yet. People don't want this, what you're giving them.
mhm.
Consumers aren't ready for it. The tools aren't ready for it. Your processes are still too far off. You're trying to be too clever too soon. So it's not to say down the track, but I certainly don't think cold email is going to be the first thing. That's the first thing that everyone wants, because hey, that whole lead generation thing, that's, prospecting, that's super hard. Let's try and outsource it, but it still needs a human to human at the now. So
Mhm.
down the track, there's going to be more things that we can automate and that we can call upon and everything. But at the end of the day, you're still going to have a person, and I even spoke about this. So back in, when was it, 2017? I did a keynote at the DDMA, which
Mhm.
is the Direct Marketing Association, and I spoke about this. I spoke about how AI is coming. Get ready for it. You need to be prepared, but you need to own it. You need to become a specialist. You need to, have that knowledge and everything like that. Don't be scared. Just be prepared. And that's really what the the youth of nowadays will need to do. They just need to say, okay, what is my niche? What is it that AI can't do? Yes, it understands this, this, and this, but
Hmm.
it doesn't fully understand the nuance. It still needs to have direction. It still needs, you need to feed it information and ask it solid questions and all the rest of it. So,
Right. Right. It's kind of like the industrial revolution where all the jobs changed in a short period of time, but we all
yes,
ended up finding new jobs or different jobs or focusing on different things.
exactly, exactly. Yeah.
Great. Well, that's super interesting. I can't wait to get my hands on Chad GPT myself. So let me know when that's available. But for the last 10 minutes, let's talk about your gallery on Email Love. Now, you
Okay.
had a really cool theme for your gallery. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about the theme that you had?
Yes, yes. So for years and years and years, I've been teaching about email marketing. One of them is design and usability, and it still is incredibly prevalent that, in fact, it's becoming more so because of accessibility, right?
Hmm.
That you need to have alt text. You need to have a design that has been designed so that people can view it even without images on, because privacy is also becoming, super, super, super important, more and more important. It used to only be the tech geeks that used to turn images off, but now there are normal people who turn off images as well, just because they're
Hmm.
concerned about privacy and things. So, and I did this test again. I was working with this other client, and they're a US client. They use can spam opt out. Okay. So they're contacting their prospects, human to human, though, right?
Hmm.
Talking
Yep.
AI. And so everything's legit, everything's great, everything's good. But one of the things is we ran this test, and it was a test. If you think about it, so the people aren't expecting to receive that email, so they don't have them whitelisted. They don't have, most of them have images off by default, things like that. And the test was meant to be apples with apples, everything the same except for the copy, the opening
Hmm.
paragraph copy. Subject line's the same, pre-header's the same, everything is the same except for the opening subject line. I mean, the opening paragraph of copy. One is the control that they already had, and one is more persuasive. So um, the team did it. All right, the team wanted to own this. The team ran with this and everything, and I was just going to step in, look at the results. I looked at the results and I was shocked. I'm going, I don't understand why. Why did the variant not win? Because we're talking control, which is very, very boring,
Hmm.
very,
Yeah.
very not overly appealing, compared to a very attractive, persuasive copy. Turns out it has this personalized image, and the alt text was different.
Hmm.
They had missed out some other alt text at the top as well, or it was the pre-header. The pre-header was different. No, it was the title. The title was different. And so there were just a few little elements that stood out when I looked at them with images off. And I went,
Mm.
whoa, we're not talking apples with apples here. And when you talk about the actual audience, you realize that the majority are going to be looking at them with images off. And so that alt text can make or break, the deal. So it really does play a part. And, I looked and looked and looked and looked and looked because I hoped I was going to find some stylized alt text somewhere along the way, but I didn't. We've done it a few times at
Yes,
Elizabeth.
I've definitely done it. I've done it before myself. Styling the
Yeah,
alt text is a
yeah.
super fun idea.
Yes.
Let's just bring it up. Yeah. So you,
So
yeah. So yeah, you didn't find any examples that you added to the gallery with styled alt text?
No, not with the styled alt text, but I found some good ones, some solid ones. Now, I'm not going to write home and say, wow, model, every email that you make off this. But there are some good basic principles that have been applied that have turned these emails that we're looking at into actionable and readable um, emails, even with images off. And that's our goal. Our goal is to try and to do that, right? So, and we can be using background colors. We can be using alt text. We can be definitely making sure that we use um, uh, a hierarchy as well,
Hmm.
because a lot of the ones that I've seen visually they look amazing with the images on, and then you go images off, and it's just chaos.
It's
You just
full
go,
images.
I don't know
It's
where to go. I don't know what to do. So I'm like,
yeah.
And so you,
I know. A lot of the emails I upload I know they're image only. I upload them for inspiration, just for like a
yes,
design perspective. You can still be inspired by them, but I agree. So many emails today are just image only. So
yeah. I absolutely love those emails that you find. They're treasures when you find them and you sort of think at first, you go, this is so lush, it must be image only, or at least a few big images. And then
mhm.
you realize, no, it's actually HTML and images. And you just go, good job, good job.
I think a lot of the ones that I do upload, they could have HTML text. They just
Right.
they
At least,
They do it. I think they do it for several reasons. I think it's faster. It's just easier from an accessibility perspective, or like optimizing for dark mode. They don't want to deal with that kind of stuff.
yeah.
Is part of it as well.
Well, with iOS 18, I think the images, finally, the images only emails are going to end up having to rethink because they're not going to be able to, people won't be able to get the summaries or anything like that because it needs the live text from it.
Hmm.
So, yeah, they'll be a bit hindered as such.
Yeah, I agree. I think we'll start to see more emails like this. So let's dive into one of my favorites that you added was the BBC
Hmm.
email. And on Email Love, if you don't know, on the left-hand side, you can look at the email with images off. There's a little icon here. So let's
Yeah,
have a look at what this looks
it's
like
seriously,
with
it's
images
really,
off.
really cool. Yeah.
This is awesome. Like this is obviously HTML text with an emoji. So that looks great.
Yep.
And then
And then,
everything, yeah.
yeah, it's just, and then if you scroll down, you'll see that they do use different background colors. They have
Hmm.
got different hierarchy as well. It's all orderly. It's all incredibly easy. They're not using the alt text there, or is it? Is it that
So there's alt text, but it's black, which on the black background
black?
makes it not easy to read.
No. Um, so yeah, so it's just really it's lovely. I mean,
Here's some styled alt text, Kath. So like see how it
yes,
says iPlayer Sports, they have added some styling around the alt text to change the color and the size of it, and I think that is super nice.
so we just, if anyone from BBC is watching, you just need to do that with your regular alt text as well on the images so that they can be read as well.
Hmm.
Um, with so it's not just black on black. But yeah, no, well spotted. So it's just a delight, and it's long
It is
and
long.
completely readable, completely actionable. It looks a treat with, it's got the nice shading there.
It's got a background. This is a background image that kind
Yeah,
of fades into the black color, which is
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah, really
It's
nice design.
yeah,
Yeah, here we go. You can see they did a really
yes,
good job with the alt text on this footer
yeah.
section.
And I understand why they would have taken that effort to do that because that's a permanent part on the, whereas the for each image doing stylized alt text is going to add additional time and it's not going to be able to be reused like down there with the iPlayers that's being
Hmm.
reused all the time. Yeah.
Okay. We probably have time for maybe one more. Do you have
Okay.
time, Kath?
I have time.
Okay.
one are we going for?
I really like this loaf one. I think this had like a colored background that I thought worked really well. So here is, I'll show you the design first so you can see how it looks. So at first glance, very visual heavy email, right? You wouldn't even necessarily know
Yes,
that this was HTML text, I think, because
yes.
it looks like a very image heavy email. But if we turn the images off,
But it does have those nice animated GIFs though too, and that gives you an
mhm,
inkling that it's actually not one single because there's different animated GIFs. And how they've done the animated GIFs, I love because they're helpful. They're not just, oh, here, let's just use an animated GIF and go flashing and or everything like that just to get your attention. They're
mm,
actually helping you. And they're using overt visual cues there with a, here you've
mhm,
got the for extra support and everything. And then if you scroll down, they've got different colors. The colors are changing as well to give you an idea of different colors that you've got because they've got obviously more
mhm.
than 6 colors to choose from. So it's very thoughtfully planned and designed, and it's really, really nice just from this with images on. But if we go to images off,
This is
right?
eye catching. So at least you still see this. I mean, this was surrounded by images, so obviously with images off, you don't see that. But I think
No,
I love the background color with the
yes.
HTML text.
Background color, when you're looking at images, like designing for images with designing for emails with images off, the background color really helps with that hierarchy, right? So, we're going to look at that because that's really, really jumping out to us. Okay. And now it hasn't got, you know, check out our new sofa. It's got lean back and surrender to the slow lane with supportive, bolstered back. It's lush, it's persuasive, it's going to get your attention. It's going to get your attention so much so, no plumping required. You go, I want to check out, I want to have a look. So you're going to go into an image, right? Then you get the
Right.
full treatment. This is the perfect way of how to do it. So with the BBC, you didn't have to, except if you wanted to look at Oasis or, one of the
Mhm.
stars or something that they were talking about. Other than that, this is a great way of treating your emails to actually tantalize them, to get them to open up the email with images on. So yeah.
I
And
think the other thing to look at is what was this. So you can see on mobile, it's kind of the width isn't changing, but you can see the other benefit is it's going to stack on
yes,
mobile. Whereas a lot of these image only emails, you can't read the text very well on a mobile
no,
device because it just shrinks down the size of the text. Whereas this, you can see it stacks. And if we turn the
yeah.
images back on,
When we're talking about,
here we go.
image only emails, it's the cases mounting up big time. I mean, I've been talking
Mhm.
about not doing them for 10, 12 years. Um, I've been testing them with my clients and all the rest of it. Most of the time, we end up changing over because I prove to them that it's not the opens that matter, it's the conversions, all right?
Mhm.
And so it it ends up being a case of all the factors. You've got accessibility, you've got iOS 18, you've got just the basic things that we were just talking about. People are is still, yes, we're not back to the whole thing where all that email clients had images off by default, right? We've got, Gmail have
Mhm.
turned them on and everything like this. But there are still email clients out there who have them off by default, or the user turns it off as well.
Yeah,
So
and then with the accessibility and the changes to
exactly.
iOS, I think, yeah, there's
You
a really good case for
design,
building.
yeah, you design for the worst case scenario, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, I think do you have time for one more?
Okay.
Okay, let's do one more. Um, okay, which one? Oops, we're on page 2. Let me just refresh. Okay, which one do you pick? Which one do you want to look at?
You know what the one I would like? I would like Old Swan.
Yes, I do like this one.
And one of the reasons why I like it is because it's not a huge brand, right? Yes,
Right.
they have got multiple venues, so it's not just for this one, but it's still
Mhm.
not mega, big retail brand who's got tons of staff or anything like this. It's really, really simple. It's quite
That's
lovely.
nice.
The copy is lovely. Straight away, I've been there, and it's beautiful, and it brought back a lot of the memories as well. But just how, it's written, I love persuasive copy, and they really have gone and done that. And then they've used, lovely, look at that, all the animated gifs
Oh,
that they
sorry.
use
I
there. They're telling a story, aren't they? You know?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, really good photography. Obviously, they don't have probably a huge budget to like
No,
spend millions on photography, so I think they've done a
yeah,
really nice job. Let's have a
yeah.
look at with the images turned off. Okay, so all of the text is HTML. They've highlighted this. They've
And then
got
you've got
buttons that
yeah,
are HTML, and they've used background colors here as well, which is
they've
nice.
used background colors, and even to the point where they've gone and identified they've got a hierarchy of call to actions as well. I love. I also teach on that a lot too. It's like, okay, what's your primary objective with this? Well, then you need to make that button bigger, more vibrant, more, pop more than the other ones. And then they've gone and done, here's our main, at the top, it's full image or full email. And then they've got the sub ones, in
Hmm.
two column, basic hierarchy of
Hmm.
design ideas. So yeah.
And I think
Um,
with drag and drop like tools, like you can very easily create an email like this with an
Very
email
easy.
builder. You don't need to know how to code. So I
No,
think the people just doing image only, they're saving some time, but it's not like you can't do this. Like
no,
anyone can create an email like this, I think.
yes. And I think that's what the beauty about this one is it's not like, wow, how complex, how amazing, how different, how, and like that. It's not. It's just a very simple email that has been implemented effectively. So
Yeah, and mobile looks really nice as well. Like
yeah,
everything stacks nicely. Yeah, this is great. I love this background image that they added as well to this footer section for Christmas.
yeah.
Very cool. Okay, I think we need to
Thanks.
wrap up. Thank you so much, Kath. If anyone is interested in seeing these emails, you simply come to the guest section of Email Love, and you'll see Kath right here in the top. And then you can view every email she's added to Email Love. There's a few others that are really good. Obviously, all of them are worth checking out with images on and off. So I think that would be my call to action: is come and check out the rest of Kath's collection here.
Definitely. Get ideas. Like I said, some have got other, some strengths, and other ones have got different strengths. So sort of go and take ideas from them all. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Uh,
some really good
yeah.
inspiration there.
Yeah.
Well, Kath, I think we need to wrap up. Thank you so much for coming and chatting with me. I learned a lot. I'm really looking forward to the AI tools and stuff that you're doing there. It sounds super interesting. So I really appreciate the time.
Well, thank you very much for having me as a guest curator. I've enjoyed it.
Yes, of course. Thanks, Kath.